guys, how's it going? Kevin Cleary here with a first impressions video on a knife that is pretty stinking cool and has made a bit of an impression on me out of box. And I want to sort of share with you those initial thoughts that I've had on this PMP Revenge. Now, couple of quick things out of box. Actually, before I get to out of box, I got this from White Mountain Knives, and I think they're on sale over there for like 188 bucks. And if you add my discount, right, that's going to be $18 off. So that gets you down to 160, which is a fantastic price for this knife. And I'm going to tell you why. A couple quick things. The first two things are what drew me to this knife in the first place is the M390 steel and the really, really cool design. I will say, you know, when I look at this knife, I go, that is a cool looking knife. And so the design and the steel combined with what I thought was a very attractive price point all kind of came together for me to go, yeah, this is a knife I need to get my hands on and check out. Then I actually got this out of the box and have been able to handle it. And again, a couple of things really were sort of welcome surprises. The first one is the overall feel of this knife. So as you open it and close it, when you get it in hand and examine it, it just feels really, really well put together. So these are made by MaxAce. And MaxAce seems to have really nailed the level of quality here. Again, not only for this price point, but you know, if someone handed me this and said it was a $300 or $400 knife, I'd believe it. I really would. And yet, for like 160, you can pick these up, as I say, using my discount code. So really, really good design, really good deal. Really well put together. And the other thing that really stood out to me right out of box, and I know we haven't gone over the features yet, but we'll get to that in a second, is how nice this feels in hand. The minute I picked it up, I'm like, man, the ergonomics on this are a huge win. Okay, so and even, you know, this is a 6.5 ounce knife, but it doesn't feel like that. It feels much, much lighter. It just really, really, a lot of things just surprised me about this, in addition to the stuff that you already know. So now let's go over the stuff that you know, we can sort of know about this, just the features. So M390 Wharncliffe style blade, high flat grind, fairly thin stock. So this is going to be a nice slicey blade, which I do really appreciate. And it's interesting to have this option on a knife that's sort of has that big heavy-duty overbuilt feel. The next thing that I was really curious about is this flipper tab. It's small, and I thought to myself, you know, can a flipper tab that big work well? And it actually does. It's a little sharp, but it's absolutely, you know, I flip this a lot, and it's not a big deal. You can Spidey flick it. Again, I was pretty happy to see that. And this is running on multi-row bearings, which I absolutely love. So the action here is quite nice. All right, stainless steel lock bar insert. You can see they're pretty familiar with most of that. Really nice. Now, there are a number of colors, but this one happens to be the bronze, and I really like the way they've done. Let me show you here. So see how there's a bit of a stonewash finish to that. I love the stonewash anode knives. It just really looks sharp. Bead blast on the pocket clip and the back spacer, which is fine. The only issue, of course, is, you know, bead blasting can show wear a little more readily than some other finishes. I love these big sort of decorative screws here that match the pivot. And again, I will say overall, the design on this to me is really one of the major selling features. I really am drawn to this overall design. So I think I pretty well covered all of the various features that you're getting here. It is, by the way, a single position clip. I guess I should have mentioned that as we were working our way through there. And I like the way they've done the lanyard hole, sort of integrated it into the back spacer. Kind of another cool design element that stands out as pretty impressive to me. Let's quickly touch on size and weight. This is a big knife for sure. So size and weight, 8 15/16 overall. So nearly 9 inches. 3 and just under 3 7/8 inches on the overall blade length. 5 1/16, so just a hair over 5 inches on the handle length. The grip area here is 3 3/4 inches. So even if you've got really big hands, you get quite a bit of real estate there. And again, 6.5 ounces, which we have already mentioned once. So yeah, it's a large knife. It's fairly slim. It's under 1/2 inch thick, and it carries in pocket like a much smaller knife. And that's one thing I think, you know, when I kind of think of my overall impressions here, or my initial thoughts, To me, this stands out as a great knife for someone like me who likes to carry a bigger knife, who enjoys that, but sometimes you want a bigger knife that still carries really comfortably, and this one really does. So from that aspect, I have to say this is a really big win. All right, and of course it's really big in general. Now, a little bit about the background here, sort of in closing off. I didn't tell you, but PMP Knives has a whole story that goes along with it. They were kind of inspired by Medford, and they looked around for a manufacturer, landed on Max Ace. I'll tell you that whole story in the full review. But there's sort of an interesting background here to where these come from and how they're made and all that kind of stuff that I also find pretty interesting. And it makes me look forward to what they're going to be doing in the future. I think, they've really delivered something cool here. To me, you guys can disagree with me down in the comments. To me, this is their best model to date. I think they've had 3 or 4 knives in total. This one really stands out, especially from a design standpoint to me. Again, I'll just remind you, pick these up from White Mountain Knives. With my 10% discount, it's a really, really good deal for a pretty stinking fantastic knife with features that definitely come on a much more expensive knife. Honestly, to kind of finish this off, if someone handed me this knife and said it was $300 or $400, I would totally believe them. It really is well done. So look forward to the full review. I'd love to hear your comments below, what you think of this knife. If you've got one and you've tried it, what do you think about it? Look forward to that. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will talk to you soon.